What up? This is Rama Screen, and in the anticipation of Honeydew, which arrives on VOD, digital HD, and DVD April 13th, I'm here talking with one of the stars of this new film, Barbara Kingsley. How are you, Barbara?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for taking the time, and congratulations on the film. May I just start by saying, wow, you were really good in this film. I mean, as the character Karen is so creepy, and you really went there. I got goosebumps watching you. It was a very chilling performance. So, tell me, how did you get into the mindset of Karen? What was your process of embodying this person?
When I always start from instinct, from gut instinct, based on the music that's on a page. You know, those words in the text, and then I temper it with intellectual thoughts and advice from the director and the rest. But when I met Devereaux, he gave such a clear template, and we found that we agreed. I mean, ultimately, she's a mom. She's a deeply religious, spiritual survivalist mother who nurtures and gets what she needs out of life for her family, whatever that extended family may be.
Yeah, and I love how she kind of dances between very polite and very scary. I think that was so cool what you did there. I mean, but let me ask you, have you done horror before this, or was this your first venture into this genre?
No, our kids were like really thrilled. Uh, I don't watch horror movies. They scare the living daylight out of me. And I said to Deborah, I said, "Oh my goodness, I just I don't even know I can watch this movie when it's done because I can do the movie because I don't think of her in that way."
Hmm.
But I did. You create your journey without judging her. Karen has a very clear line about what's acceptable behavior and what is not acceptable behavior and what she needs to do. So that, yeah, I've never I've never done a horror movie.
So have you watched this movie in one sitting entirely?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. My husband and my husband played Euless. Stephen D'Ambrose is my real husband, and so we
Nice.
sat. I think the first was it Night Stream or the
Nice stream, yeah.
festival.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we watched it. That was fascinating because you never know what they're going to keep and what they have to edit out to make a story. You know,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So that was wild.
Devereaux, you mentioned, the writer director. What is it that you think about his script that is unique or stands out compared to the other previous projects you've ever done before?
Well, first and foremost, this story, this kind of Hansel and Gretel story without the candy,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
as it were. Um, he created a farmer antagonist who's a woman, which I just thought was incredible.
Mm.
Devereaux also the way he writes is very similar to the way I write when I write, in the fact that he has a certain melody for each character.
Mm.
You know, it's there in the text. And then he gives you these wonderful little, very specific humanistic traits. I don't know if it really evidenced itself in the final movie, but throughout filming, whenever Karen enters, she's humming some Christmas carol or another. She just loves Christmas carol. So that to me was unlike anything. It's not predictable.
Mm-hmm.
It's far out, wild. And he also was respectful of every character in the film. And that might sound a little weird, but they each had their own journey, and they were each deeply human
Mhm.
in good ways and in flawed ways.
So I gotta ask you about the fact that your character or you do a lot of cooking in this film. There's a lot of cooking scenes. We're not gonna spill the spoilers for the viewers, of course, but tell me, was that actually you doing all that cooking, or did they have some chefs or a coordinator on the set to handle that part? And were those like actual edible beef because they look delicious?
They were actual steaks and
Ah,
nice little steaks. Nice. All of the produce was fresh, organic, except maybe those cupcakes. But the way it worked, which was funny, Evan my husband and I were in the apartment in an Airbnb on the top floor of the house where we filmed.
mm,
And on the days where they needed to cook food, they had to get this really old stove, the period, pieces. So they had to block off the real kitchen in this farmhouse, create this second period kitchen, which was not very functional
huh?
completely. And so Evan would go upstairs and fry the steaks, and then he would run down and we would put them on the stove, and then I would sort of take over from there. But it was hot, bubbling grease. And there was I don't know if you remember, there was a mitt, like an oven mitt,
Yeah.
and it got that we fabricated out of two placemats.
Oh.
And I said, and it was starting to stitching, like it was hand stitch was coming undone. And I said, give me some gaff tape. We'll just keep taping it. But the skillet got really slippery. So
Mm.
that was arduous. And then, of course, the grease and the steam, they had to keep dealing with me because take after take after take, you've got these grease slicks. The cupcakes, I think by the time we were done, the last time we shot with food, because, you put it back in the fridge and then you start again, we were far away from any markets. And so as a result, it's like, we only have so much food left without like an hour and a half trip. So we were like, don't eat the carrots today if you don't have to. But I'd never done a film or a TV shoot where there was that much.
It definitely made me hungry, those
Oh,
scenes.
well, good. Great.
Now, you've been in this business for almost 25 years, is that correct? More
Try
or less?
46 years.
Oh, I'm sorry, 46 years.
Well,
Oh, wow, way off on my number
yeah, I
there.
mean, just thank you. Starting with stage. Yeah.
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 So, talk to me about working with young actors like Malin Barr and Sawyer Spielberg on this project, especially Sawyer, the son of an iconic director, and Sawyer is pretty fresh as an actor. So, what was it like working with them on Honeydew? And did you share with them some wisdom or show them some ropes along the way?
They didn't need my wisdom in terms of doing film. The only thing I might have provided, and this is completely up to them to verify or dismiss, is I am a consummate mother.
Hmm.
So if I sensed, that the day was getting really long for them, it's just a word of encouragement, just Sawyer is an amazing human being. And in film, I don't I don't think that I would really have any idea about whether somebody was not seasoned or seasoned. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, the thing about both of them is that when we shot, it was here, it was now, it was present, totally open, totally responsive. Um, the only a lot less was asked of me clearly than of them, but they're so game for playing, just playing. And I thought they were really generous to me as just a much older human being, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah.
All
The
right.
only difference I think that might happen
Hmm.
with, I'm not saying Mullen and Sawyer specifically at all. I spent 6 weeks learning the script
Hmm.
because Karen's language and her dialogue and the rest of it is so what I call a jazz riff of her very own. She doesn't talk like other people. The only time I got confused is that if we weren't totally on script, the way my brain sees it on a page, it was easy to confuse me. And I'd be like, okay, guys, I'm sorry. Can we look at this again? Because it's very strange. I'm not an improv actor when it comes to only in behavior.
Hmm.
Or if somebody says this is a really loosely scripted piece, just go for it. But I'm an old stage actor.
I hear you. I hear you. And finally, and thank you for sharing that. And finally, what's next on your horizon? What do you have coming up for us next? Are you coming back for Flight Attendant season 2, perhaps, or anything like that?
Well, once we appear
Hmm.
in a TV series, you can't appear again
Ah,
unless the character.
yeah.
There was a character in Flight Attendant that was a possible recur,
Hmm.
but what happened was after the pilot episode, they edited that character out. And
Mm.
so I was so grateful. They called my agent and said, we really loved her, and we want to use her again. Don't worry about her already having appeared because that won't happen. But the character of Mrs. Hassler, she wouldn't be somebody that they would thread in. Same with Jessica Jones, that was one. So it's that day player stuff. In terms of where we go, I'll be honest, when Tribeca didn't happen this last year, that made a little really sad for me in terms of the film, the team, and the rest of it. And that might have opened some things for me as an actor. I don't know, because I've never been in Tribeca. But right now, we are all self-taping.
Mm.
And the only thing that I've done is a New York lottery spot recently. But the rest of the things that you self-tape, the projects are like, and shoots from March 28th through July. And you go, well, okay. So
Well,
hopefully something will come. Who knows?
yeah. I wish you the best because I really, really enjoyed your performance on Honeydew. That's for sure. And for my fans at home, everybody go check out Honeydew, arriving on VOD, digital HD, and DVD April 13th. Barbara, thank you for talking to me and congratulations.
Thank you so much.